The end of June 2025 is not just another date passing by like sand through your fingers. It is not merely the conclusion of a month. It is not simply the closing of a season or a mark on a calendar. It is a divine checkpoint, a prophetic alignment, a spiritual collision between what heaven decreed and what the earth has endured. It is not random. It is not delayed. It is not uncertain. It is planned. God said it. And if God said it, it will be. Because when God speaks, He doesn't speculate. He ordains. He doesn't guess. He governs. And what He has orchestrated for the end of June 2025 is not the result of a human agenda or a global accident. It is divine timing, not random chaos. You may have felt like your prayers have fallen silent into the abyss. You may have stood at the edge of your own hope and thought, Lord, have you forgotten me? But God is not late. He is not early. He is exact. He is precise. Heaven operates on a timetable that is often hidden from the eyes of men, but is never out of sync with the will of God. The delay you felt was not denial. The silence you heard was not abandonment. The wilderness you wandered was not punishment. It was placement. It was preparation. It was God aligning you, stripping you, refining you for a release that only He could time perfectly. We look at our watches. We panic. We cry. We beg. We try to rush God into our timelines. But He doesn't live in minutes or hours. He lives in moments that are divinely arranged, orchestrated before the foundations of the earth were laid. And June 2025 is not a surprise to Him. It is a date He carved out with precision. It is a moment He has been pointing toward. What we have been calling delay, God has been calling design. What we thought was confusion, God has been calling coordination. Every setback, every heartbreak, every unanswered prayer, every sleepless night, every closed door, every loss, it wasn't for nothing. It was calibration. It was divine mathematics. He's been adding up what you thought was subtracting. He's been multiplying what you thought was divided. He's been forming something eternal out of what you thought was wasted, because nothing is wasted in the hands of God. No moment, no tear, no disappointment. All of it has been held in the vault of heaven, waiting to be poured out at the appointed time. And that appointed time is drawing near. You see, when Joseph was thrown in a pit, it looked like a tragedy. When he was falsely accused and thrown into prison, it looked like injustice. But what if I told you that the pit was a hallway to the palace? That the prison was not the end of his story. It was the beginning of divine promotion. The prison cell was not a punishment. It was a holding room until the throne was ready and Egypt needed a dreamer to interpret their famine. That's divine timing. That's the coordination of heaven. And some of you have been in a pit, misunderstood. Some of you have been in a prison, falsely labeled. But it's not the end. It's the divine hallway to a moment God scheduled. He's been quiet on purpose, not because He isn't working, but because His work is sacred. He's been behind the veil. He's been working in silence so that when the appointed moment comes, no one can take credit but Him. Because when it happens, when the breakthrough comes, when the door opens, when the healing pours in, when the provision overflows, when the restoration manifests, when the promises arrive, no one will be able to say it was man-made. It will be undeniably, unquestionably, unmistakably God. Only God. The end of June 2025 will not just be the end of a month. It will be the end of certain struggles that have lingered for years. It will be the beginning of seasons that have been promised but not yet seen. It will be a divine unveiling. What's been hidden will be exposed. What's been restrained will be released. What's been stagnant will be stirred. And you'll understand why God didn't let it happen before. Because you weren't ready. The situation wasn't ready. The people around you weren't ready. But now all of heaven is aligning the pieces. God doesn't do anything halfway. He doesn't rush a miracle. He doesn't deliver before the soil is ready to receive the seed. That's why some of you have been waiting longer than you thought you would. But the wait wasn't a punishment. It was a sign of how big the blessing is. If you're still waiting, it's because what God is preparing for you is too heavy to be carried with immature hands. It's too weighty to be delivered into a shaky foundation. So He's been strengthening you quietly, deeply, firmly. until you could carry what you prayed for. The battles you fought weren't random either. The attacks weren't just coincidences. They were permitted to sharpen you, to test your resolve, to push you to the edge. Not so you would fall, but so you would finally see that the edge is where God builds altars. Where you thought you were going to die, God planned to resurrect. Where you thought it was over, God planned to begin. And as June 2025 approaches, the wind of God is already shifting. You may not see it yet, but the atmosphere is changing. The ground is rumbling. The heavens are moving, because divine timing demands that everything obey the command of God's calendar. Let this stir your soul. What has been heavy on your heart, God has had on His calendar. That longing you've carried in secret, He's been planning it in the open heavens. That door you've knocked on for years with no answer, He's been building it behind the scenes. And He didn't bring you this far to leave you. He didn't allow you to survive the storm just to sink at the shore. No, He brought you here because you're closer than you've ever been. You're standing on the edge of the manifestation, and the end of June 2025 will be a spiritual release, a prophetic culmination. It will feel sudden to you, but it won't be sudden to heaven. Heaven has been orchestrating this long before you even knew how to pray. And when it hits, it won't just shift your life, it will shift your identity. You won't be the same. The labels people gave you in your lowest season will fall off. The shame you carried like a second skin will burn off in the fire of His glory. The fear that gripped you at night will melt in the warmth of His favor. Because what God is releasing isn't just stuff, it's revelation, it's identity, it's clarity, it's calling, it's purpose, it's time. And if you've been weary, hear this now. God sees you. The pain you buried beneath your smile, the faith you've tried to hold on to with shaking hands, the tears that stained your pillow, He sees it. And He's not late. He's on time. He's always been on time. He's not playing games with your life. He's writing a testimony so detailed, so precise, so powerful that generations after you will still be telling your story, and they'll say, that was the month everything changed. You've walked through the valley, but June 2025 is the mountaintop. You've crawled through the shadows, but June 2025 is the sunrise. You've battled your mind, but June 2025 is your peace. And when it comes, you'll know it wasn't by chance. It was divine timing, not random chaos. God's hand has been on the clock the whole time. So hold on a little longer, breathe deeper, stand firmer, pray stronger. Because you are closer than you think. Heaven has been preparing the way. The doors you thought were closed forever are swinging open. The chains you carried for years are breaking. The people who left you were supposed to. The pain you endured was productive. The prayers you whispered in the dark were heard. And now the light is about to break through. You were not overlooked. You were hidden for glory. You were not forgotten. You were reserved for the right time, and this is the time, this is the shift. This is the moment that the silence turns into sound, and the waiting turns into witnessing. You are about to see what you've only believed. You are about to walk into what you've only dreamed. God said it's all planned, and when He says it's planned, He means every detail, every second, every encounter, every delay, every closed door, every redirection. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was missed. He's the Alpha and the Omega. He sees the end from the beginning. He's not reacting. He's revealing. He's not adjusting. He's fulfilling. So don't panic. Don't quit. Don't give up now. Because what's coming at the end of June 2025 is not just the answer to your prayer. It's the fulfillment of your purpose. It's the alignment of your destiny. It's the manifestation of God's original intent for your life. He didn't start this just to leave it incomplete. He is the author and the finisher. And the final chapter is about to be read aloud by heaven itself. Stay ready, stay humble, stay expectant, because the clock of heaven is striking, and the earth is about to witness what only heaven knew was coming. It's divine timing, not random chaos. It's God's plan, and it is good.